Hey mamas, you are listening to the Motherhood is Ghetto podcast. We all know motherhood can be a beautiful thing, but girl, it can also be ghetto. Join me as we discuss some of the best and worst parts of being a mom raising kids, all while trying to figure out this thing called life. This ghetto is a safe space, mamas. So welcome to the hood. Hey mamas, welcome back to another episode of Motherhood is Ghetto. My name is Joy, and how y'all doing out there? If y'all doing all right, you already know what to say. Say amen. I pray you are having a good day, a good week so far, a good month. We are halfway through July. Amen. This year is just moving, y'all. It's moving. And before we know it, it'll be 2026. But I'm blessed and happy to see it. Amen. So thank y'all for joining me today. And before we get into today's episode, you already know we got to pay the bill around here. So the Empowered Mama Planner, it is still available on Amazon right now. And if you don't know, the Empowered Mama Planner is a planner that I created especially for moms to help you stay organized with all the things, to help you plan your way to better finances, plan your way to being more productive, punctual, all that good stuff. And also, too, it is just a way for you to have a tool or an avenue to sort your thoughts, get all the thoughts and the feelings out of your mind and onto paper so that way you can move forward and live the best life that you want to live. Amen. So, included in this planner, there is a love note from me to you. There are budgeting tips. There are self-care tips, and I think that's my favorite part of the planner is the self-care tips because it gives tips on how to make self-care impactful for you and really being intentional with your self-care. There is also a goal planner sheet so you can plan out your goals for the whole year. And also, too, this planner is undated, so you can buy it at any time of the year and start it at any time of the year. You fill in the months, you fill in the days, and there is a 12-month calendar. There are also weekly planner sheets, so if you like to plan week by week, there are sheets for you to do that as well. And there's also a budget planner in there. So every month there is a new budget planner sheet so you can plan your finances for the month. And there are also pages for you to journal and reflect for the month or throughout the month. And at the back of the planner, there are savings challenges and self care challenges that you can do by yourself, with friends, or even with your kids to hold yourself accountable to your goals. So if you have a goal this year to implement more self care into your routine, that's a great way to do it. Or if you have a goal to save up some money, then there are challenges that'll help you save up money. And yeah, overall, it is just a good thing to have. So if you haven't already, go ahead and grab it. It is on Amazon, and I will have the link to the planner in the show notes if you are listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And I will also have it in the description box on YouTube if you're watching on YouTube. Amen? Okay. Amen. All right, Mama. So today's episode, I'm going to be talking about 6 truths that I learned being a mom. And these are just some things that I just picked up on throughout my motherhood journey, and you may have picked up on some of the same things too. Or I may say something today that kind of resonates with you and you never really thought of it that way. So hopefully that's what happens. But even still, I just want to share this because I feel like we as moms, there's so much to learn. And I think that in our journey or during our journeys, we're never going to be done learning. Our kids are going to continue to keep us on our toes and keep us evolving and growing as they grow. So far, I'm pretty sure that there's probably more truths that I could go over. But for now, I got these 6 truths for you guys that I have learned so far being a mom. And these truths have really been impactful. Like I always tell y'all, like I do not claim to be perfect or have all the answers. I'm not the blueprint for motherhood or anything like that. I really just be out here trying my best, and I want my children and myself, I want us to have a good life. So I try to mother them the best way that I can, or, however, I see fit, but also to, you know, I want to make sure that how I'm providing and how I'm caring for them is how they want to be cared for too. These are just some truths that have helped me along the way, in that endeavor. So, if you're interested, keep listening. Amen. Okay, so the first truth that I had to come to realize was I cannot raise my kids the same way I was raised. And I will say that when I started having kids, I did try to raise my kids like how I was raised. And it didn't work. Like it works when they're little, but when they start talking and formulate their own opinions, and just as they grow, it just changes. The main reason being because my kids aren't this a part of the same generation I was a part of. I mean, I'm an 80s baby. I'm a late 80s baby. So my childhood experience that I can remember was growing up throughout the 90s. And I mean, if you were fortunate enough to grow up as a kid during the 90s, then like that was the golden era. And we didn't have all the things that our kids have today. We witnessed the dawn of the internet and Google and gaming and like all this stuff. Like we witnessed it and we got it firsthand. We tested it out for these kids. Amen. So it was just a different time. Like my parents could, let us go outside and we can be outside all day and they wouldn't be worried about it because they know that we coming home, and things were, safer. But now there's just so many things going on, and most kids are inside these days. They're on their electronics, they're scrolling. Cell phones, when I was a kid, they weren't like how they are now. And we had to entertain ourselves. Me and my brothers, like we went outside and we played and all that stuff. And my parents really weren't like my parents would, spend time with us, but I don't ever remember like my mom like coming outside to play catch with me, or or like my dad like coming outside with us to play soccer. Like I know my dad used to play basketball with my brothers, but like that's the extent of it. But for me, raising my kids right now, whatever they ask me to do, as far as like their interests or if they just want to spend time with me, like I'm doing it. I'm out there playing catch. I'm playing volleyball with my daughter, like all those things. And I could be one of those type of parents, like, oh well, go get your brother and play with your brother. Like I could be like that, but I choose not to, because of the fact that I want to spend every minute that my kids want to spend with me, like, and are willing to spend with me, like, I'm not going to waste it. I'm not going to take it for granted. And because there were times where I would ask my parents, like, oh, can you do this with me? Can you do that with me? And it was like, no, not right now, or go ask your brother, like your brother will play with you, this, that, and the third. And no shade to them. My parents were definitely hard working parents, and they worked their butt off to make sure that we had everything that we asked for, and we had food on the table, a roof over the head, all that stuff. And they was tired. They was tired. I remember anytime my parents weren't at work, they would sleep. But yeah, so I just know that I cannot raise my kids like how I was raised. And that goes with the disciplining too. Um, I don't think that spankings and whoopings and stuff like that, I don't think that works for kids, in my opinion. Now, do kids need to be disciplined? Yes. But my parents believe in ass whoopings. So if any of us got a line, we got an ass whooping. But I necessarily don't believe in that. But if I was running around raising my kids like how I was raised, I would be thinking like, well, shoot, like now I gotta whoop your ass. and and I might not need to. You know what I'm saying? So and it's just these nuances and these different things like I just do differently as a parent. Like I don't yell at my kids. Like in the times when I do raise my voice, like that's when they're like, oh shoot, like I must have really upset mom because she don't normally yell. Like but when I was growing up, like that's the way to get through to a child is to yell, to scare them, like to put that fear in them to make sure that they straighten up. And I really don't do that. I I I don't do that with my kids because I mean, let's just face it, like I'm not a scary person. Like I can't I can't do nothing with a straight face. I everything I do I'm smiling. So I'm not gonna try to be that person or be that disciplinary when I know it's not in me. But what is in me is to talk to my kids and understand like why they acting up or why they're doing what they're doing and tell them like, hey, like there's consequences to their actions and really being straightforward with them. And that's how I approach raising them. Like I don't pull any punches and I tell them what's up. Like I tell them straight up, like, hey, you keep doing this, this is what's gonna happen. And they may keep doing the thing, and then that requires me as the parent to stand on my word. Like if I said that this was gonna happen when you did this, then I'm standing on it. So yeah, definitely the generational gap is just way too large for me to be trying to raise my kids like how I was raised. And I feel like I was raised well. I feel like I was raised to be a good productive member of society, but I feel like I'm also raising some great kids and I don't think that they have to be raised just like me in order to be great. Just saying. Okay, so which brings me to my next truth. Being a gentle parent is not a bad thing, y'all. Being a gentle parent is okay. And I know a lot of people don't don't take too well to gentle parenting, or they think that like that's not the way to raise a kid or to handle your kids, but I mean it works for me. And it's not as bad as one would think. And gentle parenting doesn't mean that I'm weak. And it doesn't mean that I'm a pushover or I give my kids everything that they ask for. That's not what gentle parenting is. Gentle parenting is just an alternative to whatever the opposite of gentle is. It's just the alternative. So again, instead of beating the lesson into my kids, I talk to my kids. I teach them the lesson. I don't beat it into them. So, and I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. And it doesn't mean that I'm weak, or it doesn't mean that my kids will grow up just doing whatever they want to do and raising all kinds of hell. Like that's not what that means. And I'm honestly proud to say that I'm a gentle parent. Before I was kind of like, I don't want nobody to think I'm weak, but gentle parenting doesn't mean that I'm weak. I'm stern when I need to be. I discipline when I need to, just like every other parent. It's just that it looks different from me. Like it's a different interaction that I have with my kids because I'm a gentle parent. And I'll shout it from the rooftop, man. Like I'm a gentle parent. Period. Amen. And I gentle does not equal weak. It most certainly does not. So that is one truth that I had to stand on. I'm like, you know what? No, like I don't have to yell at my kids. I don't have to cuss at my kids. I don't have to raise my hand to my kids. I don't have to do any weird type of disciplinary. I don't have to make them stand in a corner or squat against a wall or do 20 Drew Hills. I see going going around the internet, parents making their kids do Drew Hills when they get in trouble. I don't have to do any of that. So, and my kids are just fine. They don't have any problems when they go places. Like they know how to act when they go somewhere. And at the end of the day, they're kids. Like they're still kids and they're learning and they're growing. I feel like gentle parenting gives space for grace for kids because a lot of parents don't have grace for their kids. One mess up or one mistake, it's like the end of the world. And they're in super big trouble or they're getting emotionally or verbally abused, and I'm just not with that. I'm not with none of that. So if if gentle parenting is wrong, then I don't want to be right. Amen. So the next truth that I've learned being a mom is that I can be my child's friend. So raise your hand if you ever had one of your parents tell you, I'm not one of your little friends. I know my mom she used to tell me a lot. She's like, I'm not your friend. Like, like she used to tell me that a lot. And even though like me and my mom, we have a close relationship and like growing up, like we were very close. I always had that in the back of my mind. Like my mom is not my friend. But I don't know if I subscribe to that because just recently my daughter has she has her own Instagram account and she posts on her little stories and stuff like that. And so for Mother's Day and for my birthday and stuff like that, like she'll post things and tag me in it and stuff. And one day she posted on her story and she said, happy birthday to my best friend. And I was kind of taken aback because I didn't know that she looked at me that way. I didn't know that she felt that way about me, that and put me like my mom is my best friend. And I really do I really do feel like you can be your child's friend, but at the same time, you can be a parent. Your child could feel the same way about you like they do a friend. So a friend is someone you feel like you can confide in, you can, cry to, you can talk to, you can do things with, go have experiences with and have a healthy relationship with. Like that's a friendship. So why wouldn't I want that with my child? Why wouldn't I want my child to foster a relationship with me that's friendly, that's like a friend, that's like a friendship. And at the same time, being my child and having that mother daughter or mother child relationship and dynamic, like why can't you have both? Why does it have to be a line between being your child's friend and being their parent? Now, don't get me wrong, I definitely have boundaries when it comes to that, because there won't ever be a time where I'm sitting up, like, say for instance, if my daughter, ends up growing up and she ends up, being a weed smoker. There won't be any time where I'm sitting up smoking weed with my daughter. Like, I won't do that. There won't be that going on. But I will I will be available for her if she needs a friend. She may not need mom advice. She may not need comforting, like from a mother standpoint. She may just need an ear to listen. She may just need me to sit and be quiet and just listen. And that's the same thing you would expect a friend to do for you. She may need like a woman to woman type of like, Mom, what would you do in this situation? Like if you were me. Like, what's wrong with that? I don't think that it's a bad thing that we talk to our kids like we're friends. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't see anything wrong with that. And but I do get why parents say that because they don't want their kids to take advantage of the fact that, you know, you're the cool parent or like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I get it. But at the same time, I don't because it's like, why wouldn't I want my child to be my friend? Why wouldn't I want that? I'm getting the best of both worlds at this point. I'm getting to be their mom and their friend. Like, that's amazing to me. And as their mom, I know that I can set healthy boundaries between me and my child and it not make our relationship any different. But I can do that and still be considered in my child's eyes like a friend. And I don't know, I think that that's beautiful. Like I said, no, will I be up smoking and drinking with my kids? No. I'm not going to do that. But I will be here for them if they need me. However they need me to show up, like I'm going to be there for them. So if my kids need me just to be like mom, like I don't need you to be momming right now. I just need you to understand. I need you to listen. Hey, that's what friends are for. So I'm here for it. Like I'm here to operate in the space and the capacity that they need me to operate in. If my daughter sees me as a best friend, like I'm with it. Like I'm with that. Cause I'm a great friend. I could be a great friend. I could be a shopping buddy. Like I can do that. Like I can do that stuff. And why not do it with your child? I don't know. I don't subscribe to the notion that you can't be your child's friend. I think you can, especially if you set some healthy boundaries and you stick to those boundaries. I think that you can. So, which brings me to my next truth. I can set healthy boundaries between me and my kids. I can do that because as they get older, especially like right now, since I have teenager and preteens, they're pretty much their only focus is them. They're not really worried or concerned about the people around them. They're only focused on me, them. Like they everything is about them and they're very self-centered in this stage. But when I talk about boundaries, especially with my daughter, like my daughter thinks that what's mine is hers. And she'll go in my closet and she'll take a t-shirt or she'll use something of mine, stuff like that. And I'm learning that I can break away from that stigma of motherhood, once I'm a mother, like I give up having privacy. I give up having everything to myself. Like slowly moving myself away from that stigma, because when stuff like that was happening at first, I kind of gave into that. It's like, well, that's the part of having kids. Like, they take your stuff, like they take food out of your mouth. You got to always share with them. So it is what it is. But now I'm realizing that no, I don't. I don't have to share everything with you. I don't have to give you my last. I don't have I don't have to open up everything that I own to you for you to take. Like, I don't have to do that. I can set a boundary between me and you, so that way like, hey, this is off limits. Or, you can borrow my clothes, you just need to ask. That's all I'm asking you to do, is just ask. And I don't think that there's anything wrong with, your child feeling comfortable enough to take your things or being your things, stuff like that. But I do think that it is necessary to set boundaries. And even when it comes to like your personal space and your personal being, a few episodes ago, or a while back, I talked about cutting the cord between me and my youngest son. And at that time, my youngest son was still sleeping in the bed with me, and I was starting to feel like I could not have any alone time. The only time that I had by myself was in the car ride going to work and coming home. Other than that, I'm always around somebody, or someone's always around, and I couldn't get any alone time. So I had to set a boundary and let my son know, like, hey, I'm going to need my personal space back. So let's go get your personal space together so you can feel comfortable being in your own personal space. And also, too, letting my son know that mom's okay. You don't have to watch over me. I'm okay. And you are free to be in your own personal space and be your own individual and focus on yourself. So once we did that and I set that boundary, baby, he been in his own room ever since. He hasn't came in my room to sleep in my bed not once. And that's cool. But at the same time, he does know that if he needs to, my bed is open. But now he understands that my mom wants her personal space back. And it's okay to set healthy boundaries. You don't have to give and let them take. You don't have to do that. And I feel like as moms, like, we see the funny videos online where kids they're acting like Debo, and they come in and they taking your stuff, or you can't get no personal space, baby in the bed with daddy, like all that stuff. I've lived all that stuff. And before, like, I just shrugged it off, like, well, this is the life of a mom. And in most cases it is, but it's also okay to put some degrees of separation, so that way you don't go crazy, you don't lose your sanity, and you can still be, your individual person outside, or separate from your kids. And I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. So setting healthy boundaries is definitely something that I learned that is possible and that I can do, and still have my kids feel like, well, my mom's got me. If I need anything, like, my mom is willing and able to get it for me or give it to me. And we're good. Like, we're good. All right, mamas. And the next truth that I learned is that sharing feelings is a two-way street. And what I mean by that is, if our child does something, or they're upset, or they act out, we go to our child and we ask them, like, what's wrong? Talk to me. Tell me how you're feeling. Like, why did you do this? Like, what's going on? But I feel like also it's okay to communicate to our kids how we feel as well. I think that it's okay to tell our kids how their actions affect us or what effect it's had on us. And I think that it's okay to communicate emotions and feelings both ways. I don't think that we should always expect our kids to tell us what's on their mind all the time at the time that we ask them. Because how many times have you told your child what's bothering you or what's on your mind? Or if they ask you, Mom, what's wrong? And you say, Nothing, I'm okay. Knowing good and well you're not okay. Like my kids, when I come home, they ask me, Mom, how was your day? I could say, Oh, it was fine, knowing that it wasn't fine, knowing that I just got cussed out by some customer who thinks it's my fault that they can't pay their bill. And I'm not, I'm not okay. My day wasn't okay. So why would I lie and say that? And we expect our kids to be truthful and forthcoming with everything that we ask them when it comes to how they're feeling and what's on their mind and this, that, and the third. But we be sitting up here lying to these kids every day. Something about, no, I'm good, everything's okay, knowing that you tired of struggling, living paycheck to paycheck, and you want more for yourself. So that's why I say like sharing feelings and emotions can be a two-way street. And me personally, I like telling my kids, I like telling them how I feel and letting them know that, hey, like, mom's not okay today. Like, I'm not okay. This is how I'm feeling. And yeah, I'm just trying to get myself together because I would expect that from my kids. So why wouldn't I reciprocate what I expect? And I just I don't I just don't subscribe to that narrative that, you know, children don't need to know like what's going on with their parents. Like I think that they do. I really do. And of course, when your kids are little and they're small and can't comprehend all the BS that the world throws at you, like of course you're not gonna sit there and unload on your 4-year old. But when you're as your kids get older and they're navigating their own feelings, then I think that it's important for the dialogue when it comes to sharing emotions and feelings to be a two-way dialogue. So back to the example, like if you're asking your kid like, hey, what's going on? Like they've just acted out or they've yelled, and they're normally not a type of kid that yells, like letting them know like, hey, like how are you feeling right now? Because when I heard you yell, like that kind of threw me off. Like it took me by surprise. Like you normally don't raise your voice, and I'm concerned. Like what's wrong with telling your kids how you feel so that way they're comfortable telling you how they feel? I don't know. I don't know. I feel like this goes back again to how a lot of us were raised. A lot of us were raised like to not talk about your feelings, to keep it bottled up, keep your head down, and just focus on work or school or what you got going on, and eventually things will get better. And things don't get better like that. So I just feel like that two-way communication it's necessary. It's necessary. So many of our young youth is growing up not knowing how to communicate. They're not knowing how to communicate their thoughts, their feelings. They keep it all bottled up inside, and then it turns into this thing that we like to call anxiety. And I don't know how we got here, but we got here. And I don't know. I just feel like if most of us were raised being being taught that sharing feelings and emotions is okay, and knowing that too, like our parents just aren't these strict robots who don't feel anything. Like, if we let our kids know that we're also human too, and we also have feelings, and we also go through moods and stages and stuff like that, then I feel like they would be more inclined and comfortable to be forthcoming with their feelings and emotions. I I don't know. Like, am I barking up the wrong tree? Let me know, y'all. Mamas, let me know. Like, if I'm not, if what I'm saying sounds crazy or ridiculous, let me know. But as far as I'm concerned, I just think that there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with sharing feelings and emotions with your child, exactly how you're feeling. So that way they feel comfortable opening up and telling you exactly how they feel. So, yeah. And the last truth, mamas, that I have come to learn being a mom is that I don't know everything and I can't fix everything. I don't have all the answers. Sometimes I just don't know. And that's okay. I think that society looks to us, especially if you're a mom. Society looks to women for all the answers, but also too, they look to us moms. They look to us for our experience. They look to us for our guidance. And not all the time do I have the answers. Not all the time do I know what to say. I can't fix everyone's problems, even my own. Like, I can't fix my kids' problems sometimes. Like, sometimes I just don't know. And being able to recognize that truth and not have it linger over my head as some form of not being good enough, it's really vital for my growth as a woman, a mom, and just a human being. Like, I can't go through life thinking that, I have all the answers, even though I have children that are looking to me for answers. I don't want I don't want to have that weighted down on me that I always have to have the right answer and I always got to have a response, because sometimes I just don't know. And sometimes things just got to play out. And that has to be, at some point, it has to be enough. There's so much pressure put on us in general. Just being a woman, there's so much pressure. And I don't want that to be one of the pressures. I don't want to feel pressure to have and know everything. Like, I don't want that for myself. And especially being a mom, I'm learning that I just don't. I can definitely strategize and come up with some ideas to try. I can't guarantee you that it'll work. I don't know what the outcome will be, but I'm willing to try. And I think that that's all that's needed. I think that's all that's needed. I don't think that we should hold ourselves to a standard where we have to know everything or we have to have an answer every time our child comes to us with a problem. We can figure it out together. We can brainstorm some things, like we can get in a think tank together, but and I don't want my kids to ever expect that of me. I don't want them to think that, well, mom has all the answers, mom knows, because I might not. And I don't want to let my kids down in that way. So, yeah, I don't have all the answers and I can't fix everything. And that's okay. But mamas, those are the 6 truths that I have learned being a mom. And if you found this episode to be helpful, or anything that I said during this episode helpful, please do not hesitate to share it with a mom or anyone who you also think would find it helpful. Also, don't forget to Follow me on Instagram at motherhood_ghetto. I post me and the kids there so you can keep up with us. Also, I post show previews and things like that. You can also DM me there if you have any topics you'd like me to discuss on motherhood, or if you have any questions, you can feel free to DM me there. Also, to follow the show. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcast, hit that follow so that way you're notified every time I upload an episode. And I'm on YouTube now. Amen. I'm on YouTube. So subscribe to the YouTube channel, Motherhood is Ghetto Podcast. And don't forget to hit the bell so that way you're notified every time a YouTube video uploads of the episode. And last but not least, don't forget to pick up your copy of the Empowered Mama Planner. It is available on Amazon right now. Mamas, thank you so much for tuning in today. And until next time, mamas. Thank you so much for listening to today's podcast. Don't forget to follow the podcast and share with anyone who you think may enjoy it. And follow me on Instagram at motherhood_ghetto. Also, feel free to DM me if you have any experiences, opinions, or views on motherhood you'd like me to share on the podcast. Until next time, mamas.